Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Yeah, I'm doing like I do my kids. I teach art classes. Hello, everyone.
Hello. Hello, Mr. Rogers.
Okay, my name is Ariane Williams, and I am an artist, and I'm going to start this off with a game. I want everybody right now to think of your favorite movie. Okay? Your favorite movie. This is fun. You don't have to think about who's asking the question, where we are. Just think about your favorite movie, and we're going to go around the room. Start with your favorite movie.
Yeah.
I couldn't hear any of that.
Black Panther.
Yeah.
Braveheart, he said he can't hear.
The Associate.
Life is like a bowl of cherries. What's that?
Miss Ella,
Huh?
what's your favorite movie?
Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump. Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump. What's your favorite movie?
I don't even know how to watch it.
Let me come back
Anytime.
to me. Let me come back to that. That's a good one.
Go on with the win, yeah.
Going with the win. Miss Sanders.
Panther.
Panther. Okay. Brother. Sir?
Elijah.
Roots.
Roots.
Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings. Man on Fire. Man on Fire. Mean Girls.
Titanic.
Titanic.
Legends of the Fall.
Legends of the Fall. Star Wars. Star Wars. The Wiz. Okay. The one thing that all of these things have in common is art. That is what combines us. That is what makes us human. Okay, so whether it's race, religion, no matter what, we all have a favorite movie. Okay? So that's going to be my first point. Keep that in mind because I'm going somewhere with this. There is a problem that we are not addressing. There is a prejudice that goes on in the United States that we're afraid to speak of. I resemble the identity of this, so I deal with it every day. Young black men. We are afraid of them. They're dangerous. That's what we think. We don't say it, but they're talking about the killings. That's who they're talking about. They're not talking about young black girls. They're not talking about white boys. They're not talking about Mexicans. They're talking about me. And that hurts.
Amen.
Because I strive every damn day to make a better place out of America. And they treat me as if I carry an AK-47 everywhere I go. As if I have not graduated high school, as if I got 10 baby mamas and they don't even know me.
Automatic.
I can't cry in public, otherwise I'm crazy or irrational or emotionally unstable. I'm 6'7". I'm a super predator, as they say. I've tried to shake hands with a police officer in a situation I did not start. I was handcuffed, thrown in jail, did not get to see a judge till 3 days later.
Okay,
So, we're going to talk about black males. I'm from Gary, Indiana.
Uh-oh.
We were murder capital
I'm so lucky to be alive.
3 years in a row. So when they talk about a crime rate in the neighborhood, you find 2 dead bodies in 1 year. That was every night. I grew up washing dishes feeling like bullet shots would come through my window. I did not believe I would make it today. That's not a side story, it's just the way it is. Okay? I was no traditional student. Never have been, never will be. Young black males aren't. You have a small percentage of them that are disciplined enough and come from good families to teach them how to do what needs to be done, even if the family doesn't agree with it. They teach them how to get along. But the majority of us do not have discipline. We are unstructured. They try to label us at an early age as either problem kids or retarded. Literally, I'm using the word retarded because that's how they tried to describe it to my mother when I was in elementary school. My mom was a teacher. I embarrassed her every day because I did not get this, okay? They just killed my friend. What does this rock got to do with anything? How does Stardust help me today? I made straight F's the first 3 years of high school. Went to school every day. Everybody knew my mom. She tried everything she could. I come up with the best lies. I could have been writing stories since back then. She wanted to believe me, so she did. I've made a fool of her several times. Calling my family, getting Ariana, and finally did it, girl. He said he made straight A's. Lying through my teeth. Couldn't bear to deal with the embarrassment that I don't know how to do this way. I'm not stupid. I can retain the knowledge, but I don't get it. I like to draw. I like to paint. I like to sing. I like to dance. Why can't we do that in class? Why we got to do all of this other stuff? They never related to me. And that hurt because every time there was a problem, I was the center. I'm not playing the victim because I've been the victim so many times. I've had thousands of people scream my name in several different countries. I got murals that people ain't never even thought about having of themselves. So ain't no sob story here, but I know the truth. And I'm not going to hide it. I was no traditional student, never have been, never will. I was creative-minded, as I call it. Teacher would be in class giving a lecture. I'd be sitting there drawing. I had one teacher in the 3rd grade when I really knew I could draw. Teacher was teaching and she was walking around the desk and she seen that I was drawing. She got so much. She said, Ariana, wow, that is out of sight. She took time to acknowledge my art rather than punish me. That meant the world to me because I knew I was going to get in trouble. I did not care. I had a hard time with boringness. I wasn't going to, look, I have an imagination a mile long. I cannot sit here and play with you on something that does not entertain me, and they're paying you to be able to communicate with me. I'm willing, I'm here. So I've always struggled with that. Even now when things get off topic, I mean, I'm boiling. I don't know what's wrong with me. I mean, like, okay, I got to get up, I got to do something, I got to, you know, and I'm working on that. But I think that's what God made me an artist, because he doesn't want me in some building that people believe me to be.
Don't keep it to yourself.
Being the oddball. I'm getting to a point with this. I just want you guys to know. Being the oddball. I was always told that I wasn't black, even as dark as I am by the kids I grew up with, because I didn't believe in guns, I didn't believe in, you know, gangs. I wanted to do karate, and, you know, I wanted to do drawings, and I was always alone. So I never was like really that traditional Gary Indiana kid, but at the same time in class I wasn't a traditional student. So there was never a place for me. I had to be creative. I had to find my way. I had to find what it is that made me stand out. There was no program to mentor me into being, you know, unique. There was nothing, you know. I had to basically figure out what I was doing. What's going on, folks? How y'all doing?
Yeah, you doing?
Good. I basically had to find my way. And even still today, I have this constant fight with society of how am I supposed to dress? How am I supposed to talk?
Yes.
How am I supposed to wear my hair and my beard? And it's just these constant struggles that I fight with every day. Yeah, you gotta be yourself. At the same time, you gotta eat. You got kids. You need to be able to pay the bills. You got all of these things. So it's like this constant back and forth. And then you got the other side just saying, hey, Gary Indiana, you're supposed to be hard. You're supposed to be strong. Ain't nothing supposed to bother you. You're supposed to be able to check anybody that comes in your way. So you just got these constant pulls of these different groups. And it's like, it's tough. There are many like me. Many people who deal with the same thing. A lot of them. They live in this neighborhood. They're not traditional students. They're creative-minded. They have a hard time dealing with boringness. How do I know? Because I've been teaching them for the last 12 years. I've worked for Girls Inc., North Star, Wesley House, Wise Kids. Right now, I have YRs. I got 4 different schools. I went from 2 schools last year to 4 simply because there was such a demand for black male teachers to teach art. Come on. I had to take 4 schools. You know how crazy this is driving me to go from this place to that place to this place, carrying iPads, markers, pens, papers, just so they get their little dose of being able to do what they want to do. Or even believe they can do something. They got a program at Blackburn. We've been fighting for funding. Me and Michelle Troxley. just for them to be able to understand creative writing. We've been working that program for 3 years. This is the first year we've been able to get them to write anything. One boy told me in the first year, he said, if you can't bring my brother back, ain't nothing you can tell. Do you know how it feels to hear a 16-year-old boy tell you, as a teacher, that the only thing that will make me do anything is to bring my brother back? That's where we at.
Thank you so much. It's me.
And I look like them. So I can't play like
Have a good day.
I'm not one of them. And I'm not pretty. I'm pretty. I mean, you know, I'm traumatized. I've seen so much stuff. I've lost so many friends. I've traveled around the world. I've been living this life. I can't fake it. So at this point, what we have to do is support our best and brightest artists in this name. Because that will give another path. Trying to stay on my points because I don't usually do the point thing. Okay. Support our best and brightest. I wrote that down. Support our best and brightest youngest. Support our best and brightest young black artists and honor our past heroes through art that will create commerce. Because it's alchemy. We have been a people who have created something out of nothing.
Amen.
Since the beginning of time. Okay? We need to own that on 24th Street. We have to own that. Because there is no community that has more artists than us. None. I will put a contest out today against Benson, Dundee, all of them. I guarantee you, if we got behind it and with each other and the history that we have, it will be the strongest fucking thing this country has seen. I'm so sorry for cursing, but it's the truth. I'm not from Omaha, but I've been here for 15 years. It changed my life. Musicians. We have tons of musicians that are doing their thing. No place on 24th Street for them to perform. Jesse's is 30 and over. You quit by the time you're 25 with no success. There is no venues. That's horrible. It's worse than horrible. It's oppressive.
Genocidal.
Today, I went and counted 21 walls that could either have a mural, a banner, or art installed. 21 on 24th Street alone. Talk about exhausting. 21, that's just from Cummings to Lake Street. There are only 2 black muralists in town that are actually doing something. Me and Gerard Buffon. How many murals do we got in North Omaha? Maybe about, what's that? If we count everything, I wouldn't say between me and Gerard, he probably got most of them. 34, I got 4. But the point is, 24th Street used to be this district that supported the artists. There's no mural of Preston Love on the street. People would come from all over the world just to see the mural of Preston Love. They loved him, just in case people don't know. Malcolm X is still celebrated around the world. I'm from Gary, Indiana. I knew Malcolm X since the time I was 5. Omaha don't honor him at all. But we can put a Waddy White mural up. We can put all of these bent up little pieces of art downtown and it gets mad news coverage. But North Omaha can't promote their heroes. We got Mike McGee. You got Preston Love. You got Bob Gibson. You got all of these people that could be erected through murals. And there's 21 walls. But y'all want to put $1 million into the baseball stadium and say y'all helping black people? Stop. We got to fix 24th Street in order for our community to rise back up. Because that's where the help is going to come. I'm going to try to stick back to this list. I'm going to wrap it up right here. But I'm sorry, that whole black talk with the kids get killed just really got to me. Because I'm constantly fighting when they're trying to say that all black men are this way. All black men are that way. And there are people who believe this. And I don't think there's anybody like that in this room. But we got to take advantage of our art, man. Because that's the only thing where we can control our image.
So let me ask you a question then. Okay, so I'm not sure if you're aware, but 24th Street's been made a historical district. So how does that affect the fact that you would like to erect these murals on these walls.
Well, this is not what.
that is.
This is what I'm saying. Me personally, I got a contract with HBO. I don't have to erect these murals. Literally, I'm 31 years old. I'm still able-bodied, thank God, and I got a resume behind it. I don't need this. I want this. I want to do this with Omar. I want to. But like I said, I've lived in different countries. I got friends in different cities, and they're begging me to come there. I got people in Atlanta that's just, Ariane, you need to get in a bigger art market. But I've been helping build this community for so long. I haven't gotten the credit that I feel is due. There are people around me that I feel like need the same thing. There are people who could be honored in Omaha who still have not been honored, and I want to be a part of that movement if Omaha is to go this way upward.
Can I help address this too? Every single community revitalization project in every other major city has started with its arts community. This is one of the only ones that did not. We started with housing, and then we went to commercial development. We're talking about jobs where, you know, they put in the call center, and that's all well and good, but every single artist is a small business.
And that's leading to my next point, and I'm going to end it out with this one. Thank you guys for listening. I'm just going to say, through the murals, it will transform communities through color and beauty. Even if it's trash everywhere, I hate to say it that way, we got all of these abandoned spaces. We get our best and brightest artists to do some of the best murals, and we pay them. For one, we create an avenue for artists. And we pay them. For one, we create a better avenue for muralists. Two, we are able to literally instantly beautify our neighborhood with our own icons. No one else in the world has these icons but Omaha. I shouldn't have to be the one talking about this. I wasn't born here. There should have been an artist who had this opportunity like your brother long ago.
These
But-
are historical figures.
And they
What's
need
more
to,
historical, celebrating a historical district and putting historical heroes, commemorating them.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
you tried.
Yes, sir.
You
So
tried.
with that, with beautifying the neighborhood through color and beauty, it will help the writers. We got bomb writers, brother right here. Like what he's about to do needs our first support. He's about to start a new paper that's going to be talking about what we're doing as a community, and I'm not even going to speak on it because I'm going to let him do it. But he's a part of this new collaborative we have on 24th Street. At the old Union Building, we're calling it the Unity House, as well as the old Salem Pantry, we're calling it the Study. So we got a lot of projects going on, and Manny is doing his part to make sure that everybody's coming together, Elijah, Michelle, myself. And it's just coming to a point to where we're having to do this. We're having to do this because it's not being done for us. Thank God for people like Terry Sanders and Mike Maroney and Annette over at the OEDC. They've been listening to us. They've opened the buildings up to us. And we're really trying to push this mural district. We're trying to push this new media source. We're trying to push so many different brands of art to create an art community so we can live here, make some good money, go do other art projects in New York City, California, and come back to North Omaha. We don't want to have to not come back here because Gary is, I'm trying to go there to redevelop Gary, but I'm like, I hate to say it, Superman, my home is gone. Like Gary, I just can't go back right now. Videographers, photographers, these type of things, writers as well, poets, musicians, performers, actors. This will bring in the media. The media will start to cover all of this culture that's going on 24th Street. What's going on? They have chicken wings and playing loud music, rims everywhere. You know, that's what we do. You know, it's culture. That brings in more traffic. That brings in tourists, which will bring in more opportunities for local artists. Which brings me to my final point, which will inspire more youth arts programs. That will allow our kids the creative outlet and expression that they need so they're not bottled up and turn into a life of crime because they feel it's hopeless. Nobody's listening to them. And they're yelling at a room full of people with nice suits and shoes on the wall. You know, we don't want that. We want them to have more control over themselves and not have to deal with the same traumas that I have to. I wish I could come to you guys and be in the suit and be all pretty, but that's just not my story.
Not yet.
Not yet.
He's like, I got you.
So, once again, my name is Ariane Lawrence Williams. Everybody calls me Bird. You see me in the neighborhood, you can call me Bird. I am the creator of the Terrence Crawford mural at Miller Park Elementary School, 16 feet tall. You got a schedule to get into it, but it has a contract with HBO. It's my biggest piece. Also, I am the painter of the Houston Alexander mural at Conestoga and a co-painter of the Love mural with the Honorable Say Adams, which was painted behind the Love Jazz. I would like to be one of the lead artists, and we're pushing for this project for the Mural District on 24th Street, so we hope for your support. Thank you to Emmanuel Cook, to Mr. LaFleur, of course, the LaFleur family, and that's my time. You guys have a great day.
All right, thank you.
All right, and how much time do we have left?
You're 5 over.
Oh, we're 5 over? Did you have,
Yeah,
can we give you like maybe 2-3 minutes to
Yeah,
give us
just
something
really quick.
about where you're at
It's-
right now and what you're
It's a
doing?
really big day. I'm like, okay, I've been crying all weekend for really good reasons. So today I'll be launching Noise, which is North Omaha Information Support Everyone. Check out the ING if decided. But Noise is a project that is came out of the the information ecosystem assessment that we talked about sometime last year, and there was a grant put out, and I applied for it and received the grant. We getting it this week because I got to pay my bills.
Wow.
But from there, I'm working with Star and 101.3, and also putting together my own team to. We'll have a monthly print publication that will go alongside the Star, as well as have its own individual print, and then we'll also be on social media and doing some digest work for 101.3, so they can have their own local news to report. And essentially, it's just get out, ask people where they get their information, how they like to get it, and the best way to get it to them, and then hire videographers, artists, illustrators, graphic designers, creators to make something that people want to pick up and read and look at and hold and keep in their minds. And if the more people have information that they can use, the more that they can do. After working at the union and trying to be like, hey, come see art, come participate in this, come enjoy all these things that we have, and you can talk to people and like, I have all these other needs. I'm trying to feed myself and my kids like basic things, and you want me to come to an art opening on Friday night? Like, I don't know. And it's bougie and you got all these white people in here. What do you want me to do? No. And so but in order to break that, people need an information flow they can tap into and rely on. And so that's what we're trying to do. And so it's kind of fitting that we'll be in the old Union building. Yeah, we're just getting started today. So I'm meeting at Malcolm X Foundation today with Phyllis and John Houston for the Reader and Joanna LaFleur and a bunch of folks. And we'll be putting out our formal, I've made the Facebook and Instagram, and I'll be like pushing that forward. But we'll be doing a recruitment over the next 2 weeks to get a team together and then just hitting the ground running from there.
You're in the Union building?
The old one. So the St. Martin DePore Center.
Right here.
Right on this.
Yeah,
Well,
right behind Fair Deal.
You're not with them anymore?
No, I left the union to do this.
Can I have
Yeah, 25th.
Monty, can I have a few minutes?
Officially our meeting is over. I would like to say thank you all for coming. Your information that you brought to this assembly was very impactful, very useful. This alliance plan to talk to you individually, follow up, and perhaps utilize some of your services. You can count on that. Again, thank you very much, and I'm going to end the meeting. Elijah has something to say.
Thank you.
First of all, brother, I really appreciate your presentation. I've been involved in this community since the 50s. I've always been a tremendous appreciator of music and that art, which is kind of somewhat foundation. But in that, people that are in the arts field usually culminate together so they get around music. The feelings that you are expressing, there hasn't been anyone that has really expressed it that way since Charlie Washington. He was a writer. And he was very frustrated about the inability of artists to be significant, and he's the one that always expressed, probably because he was a writer, that art's not art unless it tells the true history. All right?
What was his name?
Charlie Washington. Yeah, he was. He worked for the Omaha Star. He was an independent, one of the foundations of the Urban League, but he was a community advocate, very strong. And he was kind of the one that kind of held the art piece together. But most, like I said, was through writing. No one outside of Miss Bunning, but because she was always involved within the administrational piece, she always had to be very strategic. Thank you. In her presentation, she was here 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
She was 2 months ago. 2 months ago, and if you'd have been here, you'd have been able to read into what she was saying, as it applies to her building. She was the representative of this area from the Nebraska Arts Council for years, and has a long background in this area. But what you expressed is frustration. I know that a lot of the artists here can't even find venues to do what they need to do in this area, so they have to go downtown and they have to go everywhere else but here. That is by design. Okay? When they first tried to identify this corridor as the cultural piece, the first thing that they did is they put up a saxophone. And they use it as the jazz as the art center. We as a people didn't play jazz for our entertainment. We played to European audiences. We played blues and we played what do you call it? Rhythm and blues and those kinds of things. But because they improvised so well, that's where the term the jazz piece came through, because it was improvised. When they first identified this area, whoever wanted to stamp it as a cultural center, they used it as the jazz center. And that blocked it down in a very small cubby hole. In order for you to get out what you need to get out, you got to be as specific as you were in this, because it is by design that they do not want this area to exemplify its culture, because in everywhere else our culture is based upon our captivity, and we have to be creative in order to get that out, our frustrations. Okay, jazz was played in this area because all the people who would come here stopping over, because it was a railroad center, couldn't have a hotel downtown where the railroad tracks were. They couldn't do that. They had to come into this area because this is the only area, because it was segregated, that they could stay. So that's how it became the Jazz Center. All right, you can't be less than an hour away from Kansas City, because Kansas City played much more jazz than what they play here. But because the railroad line stopped here, they all came here and they stayed here overnight, and that's how it grew to be what it was. So your frustration hasn't been expressed in a long time. You've done it very well. You need to keep doing that, because as they talk about culture, they're misinterpreting. That's why I was glad to hear the brothers not with, because we don't have any. If you look at how they set up arts things in this area, none of them have been controlled by us. None of them. And they won't be controlled by us, because you will tell the truth in your art, and they can't afford to have the truth be told.
But, doing all, the way I feel, doing all black art in this area, to me, is somewhat segregating the area. We need both art in the area.
Why?
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 Number one reason, a long time ago, the area out here was Jews, I understand.
Jews are black.
And blacks.
Jews are black. They're not Jews. Judaism is not a nationality, it's a religion. They were Hebrews. Hebrews were black.
Whoever was out here before all the blacks moved out here.
Hebrews, and they were put in this area, Miss Willis, they were put in this area because they were black, because they were Hebrews. They were the first to move in this area in 1913 because there was a segregation laws that did not allow them to live anywhere else. So they had to live here. They are black.
maybe they are black.
They are black. You know, maybe to it.
Just
Doing
put
all black
one.
people. And
Yeah.
this is why I
And
think
I
that's
want beauty in the area.
Yeah, and I
want
think-
people in
I
the
agree.
area that have did great things in the area. Because that way, if we do it like that, we are going back to the 1930s and 1940s.
They do it in their area and they don't go backwards.
Can I say something here? The problem is that white people's art is all over the rest
All
of
over.
Omaha.
it's depriving the area by
We don't
putting.
have-
Thank you.
We already
it's about
have
us not
too
having
much.
any space.
And this is the thing.
we
Let's
have
just
been inundated with white people's art.
and
They get all the funding. They get all the money.
Thank
they get all the spaces. And we don't have any access to these spaces. We don't know enough about the
No.
networks to even get involved in it to find out
I
what
hear
the
Ms. Ellis' point,
projects
too.
are. And yes, but we have to be able to make sure that our art is strong and out there in the world first, and then we can start bringing some of theirs in. We
Amen.
have to do ours first,
Yeah, I agree with
because I've worked in the arts community a long time.
And the minute they put one in here,
Yeah,
it'll
the
be they
gentrification
gonna take
process
it. They're
is
going
already
to take
taking
it. We
place.
cannot afford to let them because
Right.
look, why can't we have a community? Why do we always look? We've come from slaves. We're just trying to have a little culture like everybody. We just want to have ours. And in North Omaha, that's black community. 24th Street, we've had 40 jazz musicians that have come from this area that are
Tops.
international.
Tops.
International. We don't even honor Preston Love. Oh, okay, this I hear what Miss Ellis saying. Miss Ellis saying we ain't got to do all of these black murals, but for me personally, as a young black male, and me taking a stance on empowering young black males through imagery, I want to see more black heroes erected, so we can show them you can follow Bob Gibson, you can be like Mike McGee. You can be like Preston Love. Who is Preston Love? Now we get to teach our babies who this big mural is.
Right.
So I understand your point that it needs to be some areas where there are flowers, where there's beauty. It does not have to be all black.
Yeah,
See,
because we're
and see,
dividing the
and Miss
area
Ellis-
like
I-
again.
And Miss
I
Ella, without you, and to be honest, I mean, and no offense, but even just going off of what you said, it's very important to even know your history in North Omaha, and know that the Jews that were living here were Hebraic Jews, and that those were black people. So you need to know. So just putting those types of people on the mural and being able to explain what the history of North Omaha is, is, and what it should be going forward into the future. You need to be able that needs to be visually explained. So when people are coming into North Omaha, that's what tourism is all about.
Wow.
People need to come into North Omaha from anywhere and be able to say, oh, this is what North Omaha, this is where North Omaha came from. This is this is how North Omaha was built, and this is who North Omaha was built by and on the shoulders of, and this is what North Omaha is. No, it doesn't matter who lives in North Omaha now. This is who built North Omaha, and that's where the artwork and should be reflective of that.
I think highlighting black culture is a stronger tourism draw. It's more distinctive.
Black celebrities from Omaha.
It's a reason to come here versus just watering it down and making it like any other district.
Even
The
white
tourism
people
side,
come here for that.
Yeah, I think as long as everybody feels welcome and safe, that there's a unique, compelling story that is not being told here. Like,
To speak to what your concerns is, Ms. Ellen, when you go down on 24th South Omaha and 24th and Denton, that is a rich Hispanic area. Do you feel that there's a way for white to be shown there? Do you feel this compelling argument that you have to be against what's being spoke here when you look at that? Because I'm thinking I'm in agreement with everyone in terms of what they've already said, because we have a lot of young African American individuals, period, in Omaha that are young and looking at crime as an opportunity. And if these murals is something that would project something positive that would steer them in a different direction, wouldn't you want to be a part of that?
And let me make this one point. Why do we even have to come down to the murals? It's
Right.
an act of desperation. We have to put up big monuments in order to inspire our young boys just because of how deprived they are of imagery. That's the saddest part about it all. This shouldn't even be an argument. We shouldn't need these murals.
No.
But the fact is, this is what they pushed us to. And it may not work.
So
That's the truth. But the question is, are they on our side or not? That's my whole question. Are y'all, because erecting these murals, getting all of this traffic going, that's not even a real problem. The problem is Tulsa, Oklahoma. What happens when it works?
That's right. Amen.
What do they do then? Do they come and splatter our murals and burn this shit to the ground because they hate us? Do they really hate us? That's the question.
who's that?
They're gonna
Who is
stop.
that?
They're gonna stop you before you get to. They're stopping you before you get ready to do that because they don't want to be. They don't have to. They don't want to go to that anymore. But they will.
Those who hate
The
blacks.
optimist, the Black Wall Street to the ground because they were successful in Black Wall Street. That's what he's referring to.
So that's
We
the
built
scary
this
part
up.
about this, that this could cost us our lives.
That's right.
That's real. That's not even imaginary. That's how dangerous this is. But we're still trying to do it for these kids because we can't keep letting them punk us, push us down, and make us think that we're nothing because we're teaching our kids they ain't shit, and it's working.
Well, we can't wait.
I'm
for
not
the next
directing this towards you. I'm sorry.
No, I'm not hearing that.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm
we can't,
I'm
well,
sorry.
and,
I'm
and
not
you know, we
hearing that.
can't wait for
I
the
get
next
that.
Wakanda forever. You know what I'm saying? We can't wait.
'Cause
We
the movie
can't-
goes off.
Yeah, because the movie's over. We can't wait until the next credits roll. You know what I'm saying? For
got me
us
on
to
that. Can't
feel,
even get that.
yeah, until
Man.
we take a whole 200. What the star took 244 kids to see the movie. We can't wait till the next movie. You see what I'm saying? We have to be, you know, my sister used to say, you can't be the co-star in somebody else's life story. You have to be the star of your own. So we have to build our own stories here, and that's really all this is about.
Great, great,
is
great.
being the star of our own.
Hey,
Amen.
I guess Tanya has ended the note.